So this is Sunday, July 2nd, 2020, and this is trail day number 50. So stayed here at the Caesar Brook campsite last night. They have a bear box, and then they have a privy. That's just toilet seat on a box down there. There's several campsites, and the brook is like right up here on the trail. A good water source that's flowing good. I don't know what the goal is for today. It's supposed to rain later. There was a slight sprinkle early this morning, but it hadn't rained yet. That's about 10:30. There's a fairly steep section from what I've been told, not too far ahead. It's got like a rock staircase, so hopefully can get to that and down it before the rain starts. So this is Caesar Brook. It's flowing fairly good. There's a good spot right over here where it's running down the rock to fill water bags or whatever. Alright, well, we'll head north and see what there is to see and see what adventure awaits in the day ahead. We're not far from the brook we just crossed and came across this. I'm not sure what it used to be. Maybe somebody's house. That could have been a doorway. Maybe they had a basement. I don't know. But it's about house size. Kind of cool anyway. A couple 100 years old, probably. Oh, just come down the rock staircase there. So far it has not rained, so which that wouldn't have been too bad even if it had have been raining. Well, this is a familiar sight. Almost makes you feel like New Jersey again. I think the road's right down there, so I hear cars. So we don't have too much further to go to get to the road. And then we'll evaluate from there what the next place to go will be. I'm just going to kind of do that today. Go a little ways and evaluate and decide on a little further. I'm feeling a little better than I did yesterday, but my stomach was messed up this morning. I'm still tired feeling, so I don't know. The water out of the well at the pavilion yesterday was real rusty looking, and I filtered it and it came clean. but it still had kind of an off taste. So I don't know if that water had anything to do with it or what. Yeah, we made it across the boulder field. It wasn't too bad. So this is a footbridge, like 0.2 from the road. And there's a beaver dam right there. I thought about getting some water, but even though I got the Sawyer filter with a beaver dam right there, I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of clear. You can at least see the bottom, but there's plenty of beavers been doing their business in it, I'm sure. Let's walk over here and check out the beaver pond. Yeah, they flooded the whole little spot. So I stopped to take a break at the road crossing, and then it started raining. So the rain has arrived. It rained pretty good there for a few minutes, but now it's kind of stopped. So I have a mile to go to get to the shelter. It's 1 o'clock, so it's gonna be all uphill, and then there's a split rock similar to the lemon squeeze that I have to go through, so we'll see how that goes. This is our cracked boulder, similar to the lemon squeezer, it says. I had to come up through that. But this is not as narrow as the lemon squeezer, so I shouldn't have to take my pack off. And it almost looks like they've built steps and then kind of piled rocks to make it easier to climb through. It wasn't too bad. Well, we made it. We're working on climbing to the top. Got this little view here. Clouds hanging off the mountainside. That's kind of cool. I don't know if you can see over on the ridge. That's like all those little single trees there, way up above all the rest of them. It's like a little canopy of them. So I think we're done uphill with that uphill. So the shelter should be coming up here shortly. It shows it has year-round water, but some of the year-round water spots I have found to be dry. So I get to the shelter, I need to take a break, charge some things, eat some food, drink some water. I don't know, it's strange, like my pack's about the lightest it's been, and physically I'm stronger than when I started, but it's like I don't have the, I don't know, internal desire at the moment to keep going. So I think what I need to do is take a day or two off. Well, just no hiking or anything. Kind of recharge everything. I tend to notice that, because I looked yesterday, it's been 10 days since I took a zero. I've taken a couple of short days and stuff, but I tend to do that and go like 10 to 14 days before I take a time off, and it seems to start really dragging on me. Only problem with up in the northern section, and it being the year of COVID-19, like the hostel I could have got to from the road crossing back there was closed this year. So all the motels are like $100 plus a night. And if you start staying in motels, it's $100 plus a night every 4 or 5 days. That greatly increases the cost of doing your through hike. So, I don't know, I may just have to take if I find a good camp spot, take a 0 or 2 in the woods. That's always an option. Haven't done that yet, taken any time off in the woods. I still think of that lake I missed back south of the Lemon Squeeze in New York. That would have been the place to take a couple of days off. But in the meanwhile, we still have to go another 8 miles. I do believe, before we get the opportunity to get off the trail, as far as for some R&R. So here's the shelter, Pine something Swamp. Partially of a dirt floor. So I'm going to take a break here. So I'm leaving the shelter. It's 4 o'clock. The water was a pretty good ways from the shelter, but I needed water, so But I stayed back there, drank a couple of liters of water, ate some chicken creations on some tortilla wraps and a Milky Way. And I'm feeling better than I did earlier, so I hadn't climbed a hill yet, so we'll see. But the plan is to go to a camp spot like 5-6 miles away and stay there tonight. And then there's a hostel in Salisbury, Connecticut that is accepting hikers. So I will stay there tomorrow night and possibly the next, because from the hurricane, tropical storm, whatever that's hitting Florida, there's supposed to be a bunch of rain from it on Tuesday. So I need a zero, and while it's torrential rains, is a good time to take one. So the trail's been really nice, just like that, since we climbed that last hill. Like, not too long after we started, had the hill climb, and then now it's been just smooth sailing. I did much better on the hill climb than I did this morning or yesterday. So I think it's just because I wasn't eating enough. Like the last 2 nights I got into camp late and didn't make a dinner, so but it happens. This is the second one of these I've passed. I don't know if they're roads or horse trails or what, but it looks much nicer than what we're about to go over. Oh well. We just passed a campsite. I don't remember the name of it, but it didn't have any water. The creek was dry. There was somebody camping there, but it sounds like, if you heard that thunder, there's a thunderstorm that's been chasing us for a little bit. At least I got over that little rock climb before it got here. So we got like 3 more miles to go to the campsite that I'm wanting to stay at, and it's 5:30. And I believe after this it's all downhill. So and here comes the rain. It starts raining hard. I'll have to deploy the umbrella. Even though it's cooler and obviously raining now, I've still been sweating buckets. I could probably wring my shorts out. There's a bear right there. He's booking it on down the hill. Yeah, it was right there as I come down the hill, and what caught my attention was he went crashing through those bushes. You probably didn't see it on camera. I didn't have it zoomed in, but I couldn't hardly see him there. All I saw was his butt going through the bush. So, bear number 2. Number 1 was in New Jersey, and number 2 is in Connecticut. So far, that little rain shower had never got like enough to go through the leaves, so I'm staying dry other than all the sweat. But from the sound of it, that may not be the case. It's a race to get to camp and get my tarp up. Once I have my tarp up, it can do whatever. I'll be happy. But this is the AT, and most likely when I get to camp and I take my pack off, it will be like a monsoon. Hang glider view. You can see the storm above us. We got like 2 miles to the camp spot, and it's going to be mostly downhill, so almost there. This is super freaky at the moment. Ooh boy! In the tall trees. But I didn't want to hang out at that edge either. Here comes the rain. That was either a tornado or thinking about being a tornado, because I heard it coming through the woods, and it's just like all the clouds and the leaves are just sucking back up out of the... I mean, it could be normal, I don't know. And now it's not going to rain. But it was definitely a phenomenon that deserved a pause. And when I say a tornado, like it could have just been like a cloud forming that never like formed a tornado. But It was still pretty wild. And here comes the rain. So it looks like this tree just came down during that wind. Whatever it was passed by pretty quick. So we got to do. I'm gonna have to look in the news to see if there, because I'm hearing popping and snapping and all kinds of noise back that way. Have to see if Connecticut was hit by a tornado. Even the squirrels hauling butt. So anyway, we're going up this climb, and then we'll be downhill. And hopefully no more tornadoes, or whatever that was. And there's fresh limbs all over the place. That's why I didn't want to go too far into the woods. The crazy things on the AT. You can just smell it in the air, just like all of this fresh wood broke off. All these trees are down. And look at all them trees laying down. Now there was two hikers right in front of me. All those trees over there. Well, hopefully they made it through here alright. Just like that whole section right there is clear down. Trees broken off over there. Trees snapped off there. More trees piled up there. I'd say that was a tornado. That's crazy. It wasn't a tornado, it was working on trying to be one. We have this fresh blowdown right across the trail. I have to figure out how to get around it. That is just crazy. So, going uphill, the trail turned, and now we're up above where we were. It's just all this stuff all over the trail. I think the trail goes that way. Oh. I hear sirens off there now. That had to be a tornado. Still hear trees cracking and falling. Wild day on the AT. I'm only guessing this is the trail because the blaze is there and I don't see anything else that looks like a trail. And it goes uphill, so it must be the AT. We got another tree down. Across the trail, it seems. Yeah, this one's been down for a little bit. You can start to see where hikers are rerouting. But yeah, that was a crazy thing to see right there. The clouds just started sucking in and before I turned the camera on. It's only like a 8-mile, 9-mile day today. But what a day it's been. There's tree limbs all over here. And back there, some of them's old, but some of them are fresh, and you can just, like those there. And I hear chainsaws running down in the valley. There was a hiker that came up behind me a little bit ago, and she said that she had to hang on to a tree because the wind was like pulling her. She wasn't a very big girl, but still, it definitely had to have been a tornado, or at least close to one. The sun rays shining through the evergreen forest with the haze of the clouds. It smells really nice here too. It smells like a Christmas tree. I have to watch it on these wet rocks and roots. I'll be on my butt. So I made it to the campsite. That's not a good sign. Okay, so slight change of plan with a tough little uphill. All the trees down in the campsite and all the widowmakers hanging everywhere. I went ahead and called the hostel I was going to stay at tomorrow. And they're going to pick me up and let me stay there tonight. So I don't know if I'll take a 00, which would be nice, or Slack pack tomorrow, because I think she offers that service, and take a 0 the next day. Oh. But yeah, after what I saw earlier, and the fact that there's a hurricane coming up this way, I think it'd be good to not be in the woods for a few days. As far as being asleep anyway. I hear all kinds of saws and stuff running up here. Saws, chippers. I thought when I was back at that overlook, like I heard that, you know, like an electrical, about like, you know, something shorting out. So that could have been a tree on a power line somewhere. Who knows? Maybe you can hear the chainsaws all running down there. Fresh uprooting. Another one down there. It just peeled the dirt off the rock. There's more trees, they're just all laying down. Briar tried to get me. This is just carnage. It's absolute carnage. Yeah, it had to go right through here. I mean, there's just trees broken, snapped off. This is insane. Yep, that's going to take some trail volunteers some time. I hope the lady can get here to pick me up. They say the Mahoosuc Notch is the longest mile. This will probably be the longest 0.3 mile. There's a white blaze. Just look at that. Alright, well, unless we see anything else interesting, that's it for today.